Hello and welcome to the Northern Lights podcast. I'm Brian, I'm here with Cameron and Stacey, and we're going to start off with Rogue One. It's out in a couple of weeks. What do we think about it? How does this compare to the other Star Wars movies, especially Episode 7?
I'm really excited because I know this is going to sound stupid, but it doesn't involve blowing up a Death Star. I know obviously you're getting the plans to blow up the Death Star, but even like every single episode in Star Wars apart from the first original 3, like
With Anakin growing up.
yeah, apart from those,
And
every
Jar
single
Binks.
one evolves around the Death Star, and it's annoying me. So this is actually like, I'm like, oh yay, a different-ish storyline.
You do wonder how much the Empire actually spent trying to build all those Death Stars.
Yeah.
You really do. But I'm really looking forward to seeing more Darth Vader, because he's going to be like totally bad in this.
Yeah, he's gonna be different in this one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get a look at him and the Emperor working together more as a team as well?
I think so, because we didn't really see that in the other ones. You only saw him like as like the last bit during the final confrontations and stuff. So I think it'd be cool.
But at the moment in the trailers, we still haven't seen the Emperor in it, so I'm not sure if they couldn't afford someone to play the Emperor, or if they're or if this is so much of like kind of a side episode that the Emperor doesn't get involved, or either another chance is that they're not going to show the Emperor at all until it gets to that point in the film, and then when we see him it's kind of an ish surprise because we didn't expect him to show, but he does. I don't know if that blows mine.
I reckon if they were going to do that, they'd save it like right till the end when Darth Vader reveals like the plans are missing or something, and we have like a rage attack or something.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll happen.
And that could like be the first step towards Vader's like turn towards good, and then obviously Luke
Yeah.
sparks that even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be in the third act of the film. Yeah, I could see that.
What do we think about Easter eggs? Obviously, we've now got Episode 8 coming up and this new Han Solo spin-off movie. Do we think that we could get a bunch of Easter eggs? We could get like a small in a call or something about Solo and his Western movie, or we could get something as simple as just Luke's name being talked about, or Skywalker.
There's definitely going to be like the time that it takes place in. It's going to be impossible, and I mean that by the direct definition, that there's not going to be any. That there's not going to be any.
There has to be something.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like it would be from the smallest of whispers to the most obvious ones, and that's what I like in films, when the Easter eggs are so in your face. I'm just like, yes. We'll probably get like a small call to Han Solo's, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't, because he's not in the film itself so far, unless we see like the back of his head or something, which I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't or is falling.
Well, what do you think, Stacey, about a possible cameo maybe from Solo?
I think it would be like very bad character if they didn't, because it's been teased, I reckon, in a way. But I think what they could do, I'm fantasizing in my head about this film now. I'm so into it, that they could have like how Han Solo is just like gets up to all these like wacky, crazy adventures. Like it could maybe be used as like a diversion to let the other characters sneak around or something, because wherever Han Solo goes, there's usually explosions or something.
Yeah, so like that would be a cool seed. So because this is before Han Solo is kind of recruited by the rebellion.
Yeah.
So Han Solo could be helping them out without knowing. So like if he blows up something, and then so like if they're having difficulty getting the plans, something blows up and it just happens to be him, that would be so funny.
Talking more about the actual Han Solo spin-off movie, what do we think about it? Will we get a bit more Chewie within that?
Oh my god, I so hope they introduce how they became best friends.
I say that's what I'm hoping
think that's
they'll
guaranteed,
include.
But
But will that just be an ending? I hope there's more. Like, will they use that as an ending for a second like spin-off with him, or do you think they'll like really introduce that as a base start of this movie?
My personal thought, like film-wise, going into it, knowing what I'd probably do it as an ending, because then if there's definitely more stories
they got a
there
sequel of the
is story.
prequel.
Exactly. So there's definitely going to be loads.
What do you think, Stacey?
I would have to agree with that because you've got Han Solo. So I mean, he's got to start off as Solo first and then get Chewie. You know what I mean? That would explain the nickname.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's
Oh yeah.
Han.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because Han saves Chewie's life, and that's how they end up. I do believe.
Yeah, I haven't
wouldn't
read
be
the
surprised.
I haven't read the original books or
No.
anything like that, so,
So
I'm
don't
pretty
know,
certain that
yeah.
is true though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It sounds like it fits.
Yeah, because Chewie owes him a debt, and that's why they end up going flying all over space.
I want to know how
together.
he learns the language, because all they do is go, "Ugh," and he goes, "You're right, Chewie."
That's true. But maybe he has a time where he lives with like Chewie and his family or something like that,
Chewie
possibly
does
as well.
have a family. He's got a
Yeah.
son, I believe, and a wife. Actually.
In the games, they're probably nowhere related to them, but there's a point where the Empire actually enslaved the Wookiees.
That's Force Unleashed, but I
Yeah.
think that's the one you're talking about with the Apprentice. Is that-
Well, no, the game I was playing, it's a CD-ROM game, and I've forgotten what it's called. Empire Strikes Back.
Can't remember.
Something like that.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty certain that
And
has
then
happened.
Han Solo in the game is sent by the rebellion, but obviously he's not recruited by the rebellion. So what they're probably going to do is that he's going to have like a cargo mission and for some money along the side, and he'll come across them, and then even though we relate Han Solo as being selfish, he'll look at them and go, "Oh heck, I need to save them." So yeah, that's a possible storyline.
Say, what possible storylines do we think could happen with Solo? Because obviously it's quite open. We think
Extremely open. Yeah.
he could be originally a rebel, like against the original sort of stuff, or he could be just scavenging around. What do we think could happen within this?
Well, he was always out to make money, wasn't he? So he's
Yeah.
probably going to be scavenging around. But unless I'm like way off here, but I think the Empire already had him like on their
Recruited.
hit list.
Oh no, Hitler. Oh.
Hit list.
I wouldn't be surprised.
For
The amount of
something, and
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, how he ends up on the wrong side.
How about more Boba Fett? That could be a really good spin, because people have been desperate for him for years. So this could be like the fans' requested film, pretty much,
Yeah.
having like a half Han Solo, half Boba Fett.
I have a slight feeling like the storyline the way I do it is introduce how Han Solo became the character he is. So obviously, like, this is me stereotyping a lot, but I have a slight feeling he's gonna have lost something very dear to him. So because he like pushes everyone away apart from Chewie in the films that we know about, and he goes around doing very illegal stuff. And to my knowledge, obviously that doesn't really happen unless you go through a traumatic event.
Well, Star Wars has always been related to family. So do you think he could either have like as in like his parents could be somehow related to someone either in the rebellion or possibly gone dark?
Most likely, but I think if that happened, even though it's, as I said, very, very likely, I think I'd be annoyed, because it's like the Death Star story all over again. Like Luke lost his family, and like a bunch of others lost their families. And if Han Solo, if we find out that Han Solo lost his family, it's just like, oh no, what a shame.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Repeating, don't talk about repeating stories. Again, how do we think this will compare to episode 7? And looking forward to episode 8, because I wasn't a fan of episode 7. I know it got a lot of everyone loved it pretty much. I know I'm one of the short percentages of people who didn't really like it.
Yeah.
It was just a strawberry teenager.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far as loving it, but I enjoyed it as a new film. It was kind of obviously I was annoyed that I wasn't part of the generation that actually got Star Wars first, but when I found out they were recreating it, I was just like, oh my god. But then when I saw the episode, I was like, well, it isn't a remaking of Star Wars, which obviously it shouldn't have been in the first place. It's what we already know, and that kind of annoyed me. I liked it, but as much as I was looking forward to it, it didn't live up to my expectations, basically.
Stacey?
I enjoyed every moment of it, apart from the fact, and this is spoiler here, there was only one part which freaked me out, and that was when the guy was alone with the Darth helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, when you just look at something, you're like, right, first of all, how did you get that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Why did you get that? And why on earth are you talking to that? It's not like he can hear you.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to channel, because like the Force is very associated with after death stuff, because Obi-Wan going back to Luke, etc. So maybe he's hoping that he can talk to him through the Force, or that he's still there. But obviously we know that
Vader wasn't evil in the end.
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
Like,
So
yeah.
but yeah, like I have a slight feeling the producers don't actually know how he got it. They just kind of planted it there, because then the audience will ask that question, and it's just a thing for theorists to play about with, and then they'll probably go to a website, go, this one sounds good, and then take that and put it into the film. But yeah,
it just really freaked me out. I don't know how about you guys, but yeah.
I do agree. It was very weird.
There was just so many sort of like creepy little things like that with him, and I just think that there was no sort of character arc with it. He was just like, I'm doing this. Why? Because I can. And it was like there was no reasoning behind his character or anything really. I know people disagree and probably give enough theories, and please do. Let me know, because I don't know why he is evil.
Like going back to the whole Star Wars is really related to families. Kylo Ren is obviously having family issues.
Yeah.
With things that's just hit me, and I'm just like, oh my god.
That's it. Everything revolves around family within Star Wars, so
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
We
what
do
they
know that afterwards Han Solo left Leia, so if you think about that, that's not entirely a stable like family structure. If you think
Yeah.
about like the worst happened, your sons leave. Oh, I'm just gonna toggle off over the universe. Why not, eh?
That's true.
But at the same point, I think we haven't seen why. Again, there was so much time which was left between that, which, yes, we know like what the consequences were, but we don't know what the actions were. So
Yeah.
I think we need to, because we don't know why Luke ran off. We don't know why
Well,
Solo went on his own, and it's it. There's so many unanswered questions within.
with
episode one.
Luke, he went off because of Kylo Ren, because he was teaching the new generation of Jedi.
Mhm.
And I believe this was explained in the film, but and then obviously Kylo Ren went off to be who he was, so he thought, oh shoot, I've done something bad, and went off and banished himself. But also,
But why not stop him? I say he stopped Vader, he stopped the Emperor. Like he'd done so much and defeated so much, that why swallow in self-pity? Like, stop the mistake you've made. I think there was so much which was unanswered, and he was just again he was there for a cameo. Like, I thought the movie was supposed to sort of
evolve around him.
yeah,
I expected
in
that,
some sort
yeah.
of there was, again, it was just a big disappointment from I felt very sorry for Mark Hamill within the whole movie, because I was expecting him to sort of pop out at any point to save the day, and and he just wasn't there.
Yeah.
I say I'm looking forward to the episode 8, but just purely to see like more Jedi stuff as well.
The only thing that I took from seeing Luke Skywalker was the fact that it was filmed, I want to say Ireland, on like this really historic place, because there was like a massive thing on the BBC about it. That's the only thing I enjoyed from it, like the whole at the end of the film.
Moving to another franchise, X-Men. The rumours are that it's going to be rebooted again, just only 18 months to 2 years ago since, or maybe a little bit longer, since they did it all before with all the prequels. What do we think about this? Like, I thought we'd already been through this with the last 3.
If the rumours are true, I'm really angry, because they want to evolve it around Deadpool, don't they?
That's one of the rumours, because
that the
Deadpool was Deadpool's one of the only Fox franchise, like Fox X-Men,
things,
which have actually kicked off and been fantastic, like done really well. So what, in some ways, follow the market.
I don't mind if they do spin-offs, so they still relate them to the timeline, which I know they've messed up already, but like if they relate it to the timeline, and have spin-offs. So like the Wolverine meeting Deadpool and doing something that way, but still having the effects of whatever happened at that time in the timeline of the X-Men history, then I wouldn't mind that. But complete reboots is ridiculous.
I think they're only doing it for the money, to be honest. If they are.
At this point, if they do, it's definitely for the money.
Well, this is after X-Men Apocalypse, which personally, I don't seem to be going with the majority, but I quite liked the movie. I thought it was everything which it said it would be on the tin.
Nah.
For me, I quite liked it. It was again, you get to see a lot. You get to see different characters, and I quite liked seeing them in different ways. And I don't know, I thought it was decent.
Right. I'm getting ready with my revolvers to shoot out now.
I'm going to get slated now. But
I think I might have to duck with you.
Like, saying it advertised and did everything what it said on the tin, just no. Because, you know, Apocalypse, he's advertised as being this person that could literally tear Earth a new one. And all he does is if you think about it, minimal damage. And I can't remember what happened at the end of the film because I watched it in cinemas and haven't watched it since. But the way he was beaten, by, what's her name?
Phoenix. By Jean Grey and the Phoenix.
I think
I thought they made
up. No, they made up that ending like completely. Like she's very powerful and stuff. But the way they introduced the ending that way was so money-grabbingly, because then he could have won easily, and they've just really overpowered Jean in that way, that she can just walk out into thin air and go, blood, spread her wings and destroy things, and it's just I despised it with a bash.
I thought it was quite good. I really liked the Magneto arc. Again, I know it was the family arc, like what's happened before, but I quite liked it. I thought it was interesting.
That
and
aspect, yeah.
I thought it's Michael Fassbender.
Yes.
I think he's fantastic.
Oh god, yeah, definitely.
I think everything he's done, I think the only person who's let down the franchise is Jennifer Lawrence. I think. Really?
Yeah, I know.
I think if we'd killed her in the last film, I know it would have mucked up some stuff.
Did we though?
She didn't die. She died in X-Men Last Stand, or her powers were taken away in Last Stand, but she didn't die. I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I thought she died, and then I rewatched it, and then I was like, wait, she didn't. Because we see her change. We see her foot like change and walk off into the crowd. But yeah, I don't know. But what reminding me of the rest of the film, one of my favourite bits, Quicksilver.
Oh, he's fantastic.
So good.
So funny.
He made that film for me, but the rest of the story is literally just, what are you doing?
I thought he was fantastic, but
yeah.
I was disappointed they kind of left it on the edge of like, just tell him.
I know,
because they again, kind of spoilers, but it's been out for a few months now.
Yeah.
Like, it's on DVD. Like, go watch it. I know Cameron disagrees. Don't watch it. But but if you love X-Men, you love the superpowers and all of that sort of stuff. I thought it was great.
Watch it by all means, but don't come back to this podcast and post saying I trusted you guys. Because technically, there was one person on this podcast that said it was rubbish. So
the only thing I've got to say about that, drawing back on what you said about Apocalypse, like not doing as much damage as he did, I think Magneto ended up doing more damage if you think
that's
about
true.
it.
Yeah, he did, but that was the point of the Horseman, wasn't it? Like, he brought him in to be destructive,
And then the two other horsemen literally just died.
They didn't die. No one died.
No, they did.
Who?
Do you know who's the silver-winged guy?
Angel.
Angel. And there was a meme on Facebook which is so funny.
I don't think
he died in the plane. He has wings and can fly, and he died in the explosion of a plane falling to the ground.
The only thing
I didn't think he died because the the one who had like the one who had the sword
thing.
She survived because she just like she
she
morphed
walked off?
Yeah, she's just like, nah, fuck.
I'm done with this.
Yeah, she's just like, hi, just like disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again, like, I can see like where people didn't like the stuff going on, but she was never loyal. Realistically,
Yeah.
she Storm realised what bad was being done and turned her ways, which was to expected. We knew that she was an
Yeah,
X-Men.
exactly. Yeah.
Like
Her accent really annoyed me though, because obviously I know over time accents go, but like in the original series, her accent really isn't that strong.
True.
That's like obviously the character probably couldn't help it, the actor even couldn't help it, but that's one of my little nitpicks. Just annoyed me.
Another little nitpick that I have was in the comics, you know, Angel, the Silver Wing guy.
Yeah.
He's meant to be the favorite horseman, not
I know,
Magneto.
yeah.
So,
But they
didn't know
Marvel do this whole thing with their different universes. It's the Marvel
Yeah.
Cinematic Universe, and then there's
obviously this is Fox's
comics.
version as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as I say, we don't want to mix it in with the MCU. Gets a lot of hate.
it annoys me at times, even though I don't read all the comics. It just
I feel
annoys
like
me.
but all of them really do it now. Then no one's really loyal to the original content.
Yeah.
I say like obviously Marvel bottled it with Civil War. If they were going to do Full Out, why didn't they do the school?
Like
I think don't get me wrong. I think it's quite a far storyline, but if you're going to go that far and you're going to have something which is going to be such a big impact to make these friends and this team fall apart, you've got to go big.
Yeah, we were talking about exactly this in my uni lesson today. We were talking about Ghost in the Shell and how they've completely whitewashed it, and by that meaning they've completely gone from the original anime. But yeah, speaking of which, I did a review. Go watch it. Well, listen, read it even. But yeah, it's loads of films and companies these days are in it for the money. And I know I sound like one of those people. It's like, you're in it for the money, but like it's.
Well, they did it with Doctor Strange as well, didn't they? They whitewashed
exactly.
The Ancient One.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I dislike that, but you have to respect that X-Men didn't.
Again, it's Marvel Cinematic Series. Like I know that's the only thing I bring up in arguments like this. I know I'm kind of arguing against myself when I say this, but Marvel, if you went to the Marvel company and said, I don't like how you did this because it's the comics, they'd literally reply with, it's a different universe, mate. Calm down. But yeah, I do understand where everyone's coming from.
Well, you mentioned it before about Logan. Obviously, that's coming out, and it's going to be Hugh Jackman's last appearance as Wolverine.
I cry.
Is everyone looking forward to this? It's based on Old Man Logan, which is going to is one of the biggest like story arcs of Wolverine. I say, what do you think, Stacey, of this?
It is sadness.
It is sadness. Like because like I've been growing up with Hugh Jackman being Wolverine and him
like,
being
he is Wolverine. Like,
exactly.
It's like,
oh my gosh. You've reminded me. In the film, then I've forgotten what her name is, but it's subject whatever blah blah blah. No one cares, and she's going to continue it supposedly. I'm never going to watch a film with her in it. I'm sorry if the actor is listening to this, which I highly doubt you are. But I'm never going to watch a film like with that because there's only one Wolverine, and I know obviously they're two different people, but
it's a female.
is that the female Wolverine you were talking about?
Yeah.
But it can't be any worse than X-Men Origins. Like I say, like
Very true.
I say, like when they do this, like it looks fantastic. Like from the trailers, which it's only one trailer so far.
Yeah, I did a review on it.
I say it looked. I thought it looked fantastic. The cinematography looks great. They really look like they've nailed down a proper story arc with what they're going to go with, and they're going to actually follow a bit of the comics.
Yeah,
of what they can, of course, because Fox don't own all of the story arc.
Yeah, reminding myself about the trailer. I don't know what could be in the film to make a story. There's definitely one there, and I guess the trailer's kind of doing its job by making me question what can actually happen, because what happens, like, everyone's gone. They advertised that all the X-Men are gone, and it's literally Professor Xavier, Logan, and this other girl.
Or did you do you know the story arc of Last Man Logan? Did you want to give a small roundup of what is to be expected, or at all?
No pressure.
No.
Okay, I would say so. Basically,
I'm
the
a
mutant,
stuff out.
the mutants have been defeated.
Yeah.
They are sparse across America, and the states have all been sort of colonized by separate people. There's like a Hulk state, I believe. And then there's other ones as well, such
I find
which
it
are other
funny how
villains.
if there is a Hulk state, I'm surprised there's even a state and not
Oh,
Hulk hasn't
in
just
that-
gone out and go, this is mine.
Well, in the sense that there's like states,
Separations,
yeah, there's
yeah, yeah.
separation. There's and it's all. I say there was like an all-out sort of war, and I say I don't want to give too much away on what happens in the arc, like within it all. But yes, sadness is to be expected.
Sadness. So much sadness.
It is sadness.
It is sadness. The film is sadness.
But yeah, so all of America's been sort of colonized and but changed into different states, and certain sort of major figures hold each or like hold separate states.
Yeah.
Logan's in hiding and is brought out by Professor Xavier, and it goes on from there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give too much away. March 3rd is when Logan comes out, and I think we're all very excited for that.
Very. It's going to be really interesting, like the way that Hugh Jackman is going to go out, like as an actor.
It's got to be big.
It's going to be so good. It's guaranteed. It's Hugh Jackman.
What do we think about a replacement?
No,
Will it work?
just no.
I don't know. Just yeah, exactly.
It's like
Here's you
even-
trying to prolong the conversation, which is like, nah.
Even if he's like good, like it's Hugh Jackman. I mean, you've got fans
Yeah.
who love him.
I think
so
the
it's
problem
gonna be
is
hard.
that it's kind of like, for me, and people will probably disagree, it's kind of like Doctor Who. Everyone when one of them goes,
Yeah.
everyone's like, no, they're going to be rubbish because
Yeah.
of the fact that I love the last person. And then
Yeah.
you turn around and it's like, actually, he's kind of alright.
But
Peter Capaldi.
like, I know that's a comparison, but this is the Wolverine. where
Exactly,
it's-
like-
there's only been one Wolverine ever since, like, when did it come out? I want to say
2000 or
Yeah.
2001?
2001, I think it was my sister's birthday. So and it's been out since then, and there's only been just one. So they're not going to replace him, and I know that as, I want to say a fact, but I don't like.
Well, they kind of are, because and
the
say there's
female
so
with the
much.
Wolverine he's not necessarily being replaced, but there's a new character being pushed into the story.
Oh, I thought I believed that it was going to be. Or I'd say they might change it and do like a female version of the Wolverine.
Yeah.
But obviously with Deadpool, there's so much story they can do with.
I get you.
With Wolverine, so I would be quite interested to see how that works. And also, will they make it like, obviously he's not a funny character, Wolverine, so he's gonna have to be quite serious.
Yeah.
But will they make him a lot younger to work with Ryan Reynolds?
I don't
as
think
well.
it would be. Actually, thinking about that now, I don't want him to be young, because freshman Wolverine, like looking at when he's very he's very babyish. But the most recent X-Men films, or just when he's been in there, I like how he's aged. I like him just as he is there, because there's texture.
They done the Wolverine.
Yeah,
which
the
was,
Wolverine. That was when it took place in
Asia.
I was going to specify, but
yeah, it was based in Asia, and they and it was like,
But
I thought that was really good.
him at that age is what I define as the Wolverine, or at least
'Cause it's
my
like this-
favorite.
It's rough and rugged.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what's to be expected. He's
Yeah.
he's been through a lot, and he's immortal, and that's like pretty much. So like
in the comics, he can, as long as there's one drop of DNA, he can what's it called?
Regenerate.
Yeah, regenerate from it. So
yeah.
it's a shame that comics can't be real life. Bring back Hugh Jackman.
So moving on. The Grand Tour has started with Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond. What do we think?
So good. So good.
How does this compare to Top Gear?
10 times better.
Well, I kind of miss Top Gear, so it's nice to see them back together.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's nice having the duo back
It's
together.
the bromance, isn't it?
Yeah, so much. I remember watching it and doing, again, a review on it. And I was just like, the way they came back in style, it was so good. Like, and I found it really funny how the BBC, I think, allowed Jeremy Clarkson to kind of hand everything over and then go from the airport and then over to America.
I don't think they knew. I have a feeling they didn't
just
know.
went in and did it.
Because they didn't go into the buildings or anything like that. It was all very sort of like, it could have been any building. It just made out to look that way.
Yeah.
I thought it was very clever.
It was funny.
I thought they got it spot on.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you said, I'd say we've missed them.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch the last series of Top Gear purely because of how they. I know Clarkson had his moments and problems with it, but I really liked him still, and I thought it was. I kind of.
He was still him. Like even from his character as a real person, you expect that, so it's not that much of a problem.
Yeah, and I think he did. I think he deserved the extra sort of chances and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Also, it's one of the biggest shows which BBC have.
Yeah,
like
Top
how
Gear
could they sacrifice?
Top Gear.
Everyone there.
Like when they see or when they saw the first episode of Grand Tour, they're probably just like, hell, what have we done? Like, Amazon's gonna get so much money from this, probably more than us.
Yeah.
And we've got what's his name?
Exactly. Exactly.
I
And
can't even remember.
No,
it was
no one cares.
Who's it now?
I can't remember.
No one knows.
Wasn't that guy from Friends meant to be on it?
He was. But they have like 5. Don't they have like 5 hosts?
Five now?
There's like 5 hosts, and they all get like they're each different segment and stuff.
Do they
It's
get that
really
like?
odd.
I
like-
think that's a bit.
I don't
too
even want
many
to kind of
people.
yeah. We're just pointing out faults.
Yeah, I think Top Gear got. I
I
think
love
that-
nitpicking.
Yeah,
I think
especially
Top
when
Gear
it's
went
bad.
straight downhill.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
soon as I can't remember his name. I know he's Ginger.
Yeah,
I can't remember
with
his
glasses, and he used to be on tech shows, didn't he?
He was the He was the Radio 1 presenter.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, which is awful. But
It's not awful, it's to be expected. No one cares.
yeah, to be true. But I say I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was nice to see also the loyalty of the friends.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
that showed between them.
Yeah.
Is that
Definitely.
as much as like obviously Hammond gets all the stuff about him being short, May gets all the stuff about him being slow. And
I found that funny in the first episode. It completely contradicts everything therefore, and they were in supercars.
Yeah. in a Ferrari as well, like Ferrari, the Ferrari. I love
the
that.
Ferrari. Yeah.
Going
Oh.
20 miles an hour.
But it was great and it was good fun, and I think that's been missed on telly as well. I think it was just good to watch. I personally don't think there's been a huge amount of great telly, and that's kind of proved it. Is that we missed this kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and it was
the
just
fact-
pure fun.
Yeah, the fact that like the entertainment from TV has moved online just shows how much like the generations are moving on to the internet. TV's getting very, I want to say, outdated in a sense.
Yes.
So very surprisingly, it feels weird saying that, but if you think about it, it is true.
It's not going to get outdated, but I think what TV companies have to realize is you're not the only media anymore.
That's
you
true,
have
yeah.
to keep up with the times. You can't just pick and choose anymore.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
You need to keep up with or what people are actually paying attention to.
And
But that's hard for them because they're only used to like what they've been doing, like Emmerdale, and what is TV's defined by TV, and the only way they can probably keep audiences is going out of the boundaries of what TV's defined by, but they're going to struggle with that, I think.
I think they're missing good writers and just pure
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Things like I'm a Celebrity and just examples like that, which were fantastic. And don't get me wrong, this year again it's been. I watched the first week, but then I lose interest.
I'm not even interested.
it was funny with the Urban Dancer when he was on. It was hilarious.
Again, and this is it though. I think TV needs to get to a point where they need fresh ideas, and they need to get to and they need to find a perfect target audience. things like, for me personally, I don't know about you two, things like The Only Way is Essex and all of those shows, they don't interest me, and I don't think
they need to go away.
And they don't interest a wider audience. I think,
but
online there's so much there,
Yeah.
and I think they can do it on a much cheaper budget as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared, and get better product.
I think the BBC is very guilty of that, because it kind of does what it wants in a way, and just says, oh, we want to do this, so they'll want to watch it. It's like, it's not really like that, you know what I mean?
It used to be like that because everyone was fascinated by TV, but they need to get their heads out of their trousers and think about what they actually need to do.
It needs to be
step
fresh.
forward. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'd say I've missed
Wiki fresh.
Something new.
Yeah.
That's simple as. Yeah, it's just that.
Talking about TV, and going back to where the podcast started, The Walking Dead. I am the only one who's watched this week's episode, so we won't have that many big spoilers. But if you have watched it, you'll know there's not a huge much to say. Saying that this week's episode was a filler would be an understatement. I just don't really know.
You mean an overstatement?
Oh, yeah. Over, under. It really wasn't much to say about.
Apparently there's only like 10 minutes worth it. Most.
Barely that. Barely
Really?
that. If you take this episode out of the season so far, you wouldn't miss anything at all.
So I could be lazy and just not watch it.
I'm gonna watch it because it's The Walking Dead, but yeah.
Yeah. Realistically, is that, and really surprisingly, they took quite a lot of shots from this episode and put them in the trailer, which fascinates me because there's nothing that entertaining.
Maybe as quick small shots, it looks quite interesting.
Yeah,
but
it's a very interesting way they did this.
But no story, I take it. Oh.
Not really. There's nothing which is about Tara.
Nobody cares.
Exactly. And this is my point: is that it was her episode, and she's an extra character. Her last season, she was in and out of it.
She got pregnant.
She was pregnant on screen, in real life. So I don't blame her, in that sense that obviously she couldn't commit 100% to it. Yeah. But you could tell that they were trying to keep her pregnancy kind of hidden.
The angles and stuff.
Yeah,
see.
It just made her look awkward, and you didn't. Every time she was on screen, it just didn't look right.
They just kicked her out. And
she had the romance with the doctor. And obviously that kind of I'd say.
Does she even know about that? Don't say anything that spoils it.
But yeah, obviously that happened, and then obviously spoilers for last season, but the doctor died in that.
The way she went out there was pretty impressive.
So it was, but it's also been quite a big impact for some of the characters, and again we're going to see this with I can't even remember her name. She's just such an Meg. No, we'll call her Meg.
Her name is no Meg.
Tara. I don't want to, but yeah, she's just very.
The girl.
Yeah.
She's not. It's not a big episode. You'd learn a bit more about what the about Negan's group and how far they will go in terms of punishment. But we've already seen this. The first episode was was such an sort of impact with it all, and you can tell the how far he will go. Some are saying that he's bottled it a couple of times in recent episodes, but I think it's all building up, and I really hope so, because if we get a mid-season finale which just is nothing, it will just break my heart.
I think it will break everyone's.
Because we're going to have 6 to 8 weeks again where we're just waiting for something huge.
Yeah. But they might do that, though, because that's what they did with the opening of this, the ending of last season.
Yeah.
And then the opening of this. I wouldn't be surprised if they repeat their behaviour, but
we've got 2 more episodes left, and then it's we've got next week's, and then the one after is the mid-season finale.
Okay.
And exactly, and so far it's been it's just been build up, and I hope it comes to a really good sort of mid-season
See,
finale.
we can
because
only hope. There's
we
no facts out
there's
there.
there's no fact.
Nothing to build it on. Basically.
I've read a couple of the sort of comics and sort of where this story is going, and a lot of it follows Carl, which really shocks me because we were talking about possibly his time is up, but
Yeah.
apparently not. If they are going to follow the comics, and they're proving their point that they want to as closely as possible, so I think it's going to be very, very interesting what happens between when he does finally get to the
Hit the can.
yeah. Oh
Okay.
no! When he finally gets the Negan, it's going to
I get you.
it's going to be a very
Maybe that
very
would be
interesting
the
time.
season finale when he actually sees him face to face, and then they cut. And
If they, it would annoy me so much because there's a lot.
but you'll want to
lot
watch
there.
it, though, wouldn't you?
Yes, unfortunately, they have taken my soul, and I will return
Got
to
you on
every
a leash.
episode. That's it. So as much as I would advise to watch it because
I'm gonna watch it, but yeah.
it's The Walking Dead and you get to see zombies and a little bit.
I feel if they did that, they'd have quite a few rage screams or something.
I
You-
think we
you
have
get-
had episodes
Yeah.
where there are no zombies at all.
Yeah.
I'm certain we've had that before. But as I say, there's not a huge amount of entertainment in this episode. You learn a bit more about the Saviours and how far they'll go, but in terms of main story arc, there's not much there.
There's not much development.
No. Again, without giving away spoilers, though, see Cameron and you lot who haven't watched it, but if you disagree with me, please let me know down below and just shout and scream at me and tell me how wrong I am because I did not see anything there which really gave away where we're going at next. There's more people, I get, and I can give you that much, but in terms of who they are, they didn't really interest me. They just had a different way of living, which we've already seen with the settlements we've seen. So I think that wraps it up for this week. Thank you for Cameron and Stacey. I think we've had a good week. If you have any different views on what we've said this week, please let us know down below and like, share, and everything. Thanks and goodbye.